Good evening, flight simmers. It is Pilot 83 here. Hope that you're all having an amazing day. In this video, we're going to do a 737 realistic startup with checks and procedures included. Keep in mind, in this video, I am not a real 737 pilot, nor do I claim to be one. This is just me sharing my knowledge with y'all to help give you a more realistic flight experience with this plane. Also, big shout out to my buddy Halls, who has took me under his wing and has taught me so very much about the 737. Let's go ahead and get into it. Now that we are in the cockpit, let's go ahead and move up to our overhead panel. Let's move up to our DC and AC power box. Once here, we want to verify that our DC switch is set to battery and that our AC switch is set to ground power. If both are set correctly, go ahead and turn your battery on. Wait just a minute. This will illuminate. We want to verify that we are getting around 24 DC volts and around 115 AC volts. If that is correct, go ahead and turn on ground power. Have our standby power to the on position. Still checking these numbers along the way. From this point, let's go ahead and turn on our cabin utilities and our IFE and pass seat. Now we're going to move our DC and AC power switches to the standby power mode. Now go to standby power, move it to the off position. Once in the off position, standby power light should come on and we should get 0 for DC volts and AC volts. Now let's go ahead and move our AC source to inverter. Make sure that we are getting 0 on inverter as well. Our standby power light should be eliminated. Now we're going to move our standby power to battery, or known as the on position. Once in the on position, our standby power light should go back away. Go up here to our DC switch again, move it to aux battery. We should be getting around 28 DC volts and have 0 amperage pool. We will also check our amperage pool and our volts. Make sure we're still getting 28 volts on TR1, TR2, and on TR3. If this is correct, then we should move back to battery and move our AC switch back to ground. Alright, now move our standby power back to the auto position. Now let's move up to our IRS box. We're going to switch both of these left and right to nav. And this would take around 10 minutes to align in real life. From this point, we're going to select exterior lighting as required, nav lights, wheel lights, wing lights, logo lights for a walk-around inspection. Okay, at this moment, we would just assume that our first officer is outside doing an external inspection. Let's go ahead and go down to our center panel. We're not going to do our engine overheat and fire test. Engine extinguisher test 1 and 2. Cargo fire forward and back. Back to our overhead panel. Gonna move APU to the on position. Turn our boost pump 1 on. Then go down to our APU. We're gonna move it to the start position. Alright, It'll take just a couple of minutes, but this light will illuminate, letting us know that our APU power is ready. Our EGT looks good. Alright, we now have our APU up and ready. Going to turn APU generator right and left on. We can move ground power off. APU bleed on. Right and left packs to auto. To our FMC we go. We would put in our reference airport. Hit next page. Gonna choose either our left or right GPS coordinates. Click that, put that into the scratch pad, go previous page, set that to our IRS position. Hit route. Gonna move where we are at, our current airport, to our origin and where we are headed. From this point, you would then make your flight plan. After you have your flight plan set up, you would then go to your init reference. You would then set up all these parameters of the plane. After that point there, you would then take that information. You would then set up your MCDU up here, set our V2, our heading, our cruise altitude, course. Then from there we would go ahead and set our trim and flaps. Flaps for takeoff we would go ahead and assign. We're just making this up because we're not making a real flight plan right now. Back to the overhead panel. We will then turn on our remainder fuel pumps. Yaw damper on. Gonna do a standby power test again. We're gonna move our standby power to the off position. Our yaw damper should release. And it did. Back into auto. Yaw damper back on. Seatbelt lights on. No smoking lights on. Window heats on, leaving the probes still off. Come down here, turn on our hydraulic pump B. At this point we would start closing our passenger door for entry. If this is our first flight of the day, we'd go ahead and set our ignition to the right. We would set our pressurization for our cruise. Like I said, we're just making this up as we go. This is not important on these numbers that I'm putting in, so do not focus on those. Alright, go ahead and make sure our parking brake is set. If it is not, let's go ahead and set it. Okay, at this point, we need to come over here. We're going to do our Magic College fire warning test. So we're going to come back over here again. We're going to click this on. And click this, make sure it shuts it off. Alright, we would also do this for our cargo test. But we can't actually do this in the sim because we can't hold that and click this at the same time. But we would do that in real life. Okay. We have looked at our window, verified that our flaps are down and working. Put our flaps back up. Going to verify that flaps are up, that speed brake is armed, that fuel is cut off, parking brake is pulled, our staff trim is up, and that it is guarded. Okay, we're going to go up here to our speed brake, anti-speed brake. We're going to set it to RTO. Come down here to our MFD, click systems, verify that we got 3000 PSI in the lines, 92 and 82 quantity, so that looks good. Check our ailerons, elevators, rudder. Alright, that looks good. Alright, we would do a weather check as well, but on console that doesn't work, so I can't really show you that, but we would do a weather test. Verify that our rudder is center, that our ailerons or trim is set to what it needs to be. We do a ground proximity warning test. Alright, go back to the overhead panel. Come up here and do our stick shaker test on 1 and 2. Over speed test on 1 and 2 as well. Alright. At that point, we are ready to push back. So we would say that we are starting to call for pushback now. Now we are going to turn our anti-collision on. Left and right packs off. Taxi light would be on. I'm not sure why mine was on, but taxi light would be on. Set our engine 2 to ground. Wait for it to get to 3.2, 3.3. And we would do engine start while we're pushing back. Just click back. We're going to move this to ground. Engine 1 on. Gen 2 on. Gen 2 on. Gen 1 on. Right pack on. Left pack on. That back on. Trim mirror on. Make sure we get some recirculation for our passengers back there. PU bleed off. Hydraulic A's on. Alright, from that point, make sure that we are clear on the ground. We go ahead and lower our flaps to takeoff position. Alright. And we can go ahead and turn on our TCAS. I believe we normally would turn this on in the air. Okay guys, and from this point we're good to taxi to the runway. We are good to go. We do want to do a check, make sure we ain't got no warning lights on the overhead panel. I see I have a zone tip light coming on. It's very hot outside. This tends to happen here, and Florida have live weather on. Go ahead and hit the reset on that. We have a forward entry light on, guys, because I didn't actually physically shut the door. And when that door's shut, that's going to go away. There it goes. And you are good to go. Alright guys, hope this video was helpful for y'all for a little more realism. Let me know what y'all think. And if I did something wrong, if I could do something better, let me know as well. Be sure when you're setting up your MCDU, be sure you have your flight directors on and your auto throttle on as well. Till next time guys, I'm Pilot 83. Peace.